So hopefully we're recording. Right, I am joined today for this seller interview / entrepreneurial adventure with the lovely Christos Fellis. Hi, Christos.
Hey, mate. How's it going?
I'm good, mate. Cheers. Good. Right, so Christos, we're going to do this in two parts. You're going to like this. Part one, I mean, it'll all be one part to you and me. We're just going to keep rolling. But part one is Amazon talk. We'll get it out of the way. And part two is everything else talk. Okay, so I know that you've been exploring other adventures and stuff, and I know that stuff excites you just as much as Amazon stuff does. So I thought we'd split it into two because I'm excited by that stuff too. So for you guys that are interested in Amazon stuff, we're going to chat Amazon at first and Christos's journey and all that. And for you guys that are interested in maybe more deep dive into Christos, we'll do that too. So let's get started. So assume I don't know you. I do, but let's just do a bit of assumption that I don't know you. Give us the 2-minute elevator pitch or whatever. Tell me your journey so far. Who's Christos Fellis?
Thanks. Well, thanks for having me on for starters. Basically, name's Christos. I've been selling on Amazon now for close to 4 years, I think. Pretty much started it as a side hustle back when I was working as a software developer. Started out on eBay. In fact, came across a YouTube video from Reezy Resells where he was going out and buying books. I thought the only thing you could do was private label, like a lot of us retail arbitragers or online arbitragers thought at the start. Realized that there was more to it than just that. Headed to a charity shop the next day, picked up a book for 50p, sold it 2 months later for 50 quid. And then by that time I was all in on the Amazon game. From there, I started making YouTube videos about Amazon, started showing people how to get started just like I did, because I personally thought at the time there wasn't that much around apart from kind of the Secret Wealth Project, of course, and a couple other guys to show people how to get started with Amazon. And that's kind of led me down to the path from where I am today, where I'm still an Amazon seller / digital creator / investor, and doing all kinds of different things, building different kind of income streams and stuff like that, really. But I'm a bit of a mix of everything at the moment.
So obviously we are going to talk Amazon first, but what are those other things that you're really interested in? I know investing, mostly stocks and shares. I know you do a bit of football cards and stuff, don't you? So what are the different areas? Yeah. Well, there you go. What are your main areas of interest then? Just so people that might want to hang around after, we can chat about some of that.
So just a quick breakdown of everything I do. Basically, my main business is Amazon. It's my main income still at the moment. Obviously, it's something I do every single day. But on the side, I've started doing a lot of investing into individual shares. I've also got a rental property that I rent out, but that's very much a passive thing, but something I'm very interested in. Very much changing a lot of my content in terms of trying to educate a lot of people just on basic investing principles and helping people become better and have a better relationship with their money. Like I said, the sports cards is something that I do very much as an alternative investment. It's not really something that I go fully all in on, but it's just a bit of a passion of mine, and it makes it a little bit more enjoying. I try and get involved with as many different kind of things as well. And just on the kind of money making side, I'm very, very a big advocate of building multiple streams of income, diversifying your income, and stuff like that. Obviously, we do have troubles with Amazon all the time, and it's always nice to know that you've got those different kind of incomes to help support you when the times get tough, you know.
Yeah. So obviously I know you quite well, and I've seen a bunch of your videos where you've shared some stuff. But for anyone watching, correct me because I might have got this a little bit wrong, but would you consider your active business Amazon online arbitrage and retail arbitrage wholesale? So reselling Amazon, also a little bit of YouTube. Obviously, it's only going to be a small portion of your income, but a little bit of YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm an affiliate marketer as well. So is that fair to say that's your active business, kind of your business focused, and then you've got investments on the side, so a bit of property, bit of stocks and shares, a bit of football cards, and anything else that takes your fancy. Okay,
absolutely,
So let's rewind a little bit. And how was you at school? Was you smart? Was you not smart? Like, how did you get on?
I was a bit bang average, really. To be fair, I'm not sure. I don't want to sound nasty. You had GCSEs when you were at school, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I didn't want to. Anyway, basically, when I was at school, I remember in year 10, I think it is, or year 11, maybe they give you your mock grades, and they came back and they said I was going to get D's and F's, and I had to work really hard to get my C's. I think that was like the benchmark that you had to achieve, and I managed to kind of get all C's across all my grades, but I wasn't the smartest in the class. I probably would say I didn't put the most effort in during the length of high school, but when the time counted, that's when I made it happen. But yeah.
Did you enjoy school, or did it suck?
I didn't really like it, to be honest with you. I loved going in to see my friends. I loved playing football at lunchtime. That's pretty much all I looked forward to at school. No, I wasn't a fan of school. It's one of those things that, most people miss school when you leave. Something I definitely missed when I left. But oh no, okay. But whilst I was there, I hated every second of it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much the same here, but I didn't miss it. When I was out, I was like glad. But I stayed on. Did you do any like further education or higher education?
So yeah, it's actually quite an interesting story, actually. So when I was at school, I was actually a really keen golfer, and I was playing for Norfolk for golf, so at a county level. So I'd like to class myself as quite handy on the golf course. But one thing I'd always aspired to before doing any of this was I actually wanted to be a professional golfer, and I wanted to be able to go to America, do a university degree, go and play college golf out there. And over in Norwich, they actually had a new scheme that they just set up, which was a college scholarship for golfers that were under a certain handicap that had the promise of being a professional.
Yeah.
And that's what I actually went and done. So basically you did like 2 days a week playing golf, and then 3 days a week doing like a BTEC in sport qualification that you would get. Not that I cared about the BTEC in sport. I was just there for the golf, basically. But it fell through. It was a really bad course in the end because we were like the first year. But that was the education that I got. So I have technically got a BTEC in sport. I've never used it. Just to bring up in conversations, basically. But
so how did you go from that then, BTEC in sport that you never used, to becoming a software developer? And was there any transition in between?
Absolutely not. Everything that I've done in life has been pretty much by being there at the right place at the right time, right? So I guess it technically did help me become a software developer in time, because I used my BTEC in sport or my connections in the golf industry, because Norfolk's quite a small place. Most people that play golf for the county will know everyone at the different golf clubs. That managed to land me a job at quite a well-known hotel and golf course called Dunstan Hall in Norwich. And basically I worked in the golf shop there, did memberships out in the back office. And basically what actually happened was the guy I was doing memberships with, his friend was a software developer. And I wanted to start being able to teach people on the side on how to play golf, a little bit of a side hustle back then. And I wanted to set up a website, offering my services. And he said to me, why don't you try and make one yourself? Because probably at the time he probably had so many people coming up to him saying, can you make me a website? He was like, this guy should know what he's doing. He looks like a keen learner. Anyway, I went away and researched into it, managed to make a really crappy website, basically. Came back and showed him, and he said, I think it's brilliant. I think it's amazing how you've gone away and you've showed initiative that you wanted to go and learn. You've gone and done it yourself. He said, have you ever thought about being one? And I said, well, not really. I just said to him, what's the pay like? And he said, at the time, it was something like 22 grand a year, which at the time was about £10,000 more than what I was getting paid for my rubbish little job at the golf club. And I just said, yeah, let's do it. Turned out I quite enjoyed it in the end when I first started. And but yeah, like I said, none of it was through like me having a desire to be a software developer or going to university. Everyone I worked with at the software development company all had master's degrees and stuff like that, and I was just there with turned up with my golf clubs, basically.
So you fell on your feet. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a really good background. Maybe people will be like, I don't know that much about Christos. Tell me about Amazon. I don't know. But that gives me a really good idea of who you are and where you came from. And if anybody's watching that's thinking about getting into the Amazon game, well, they can go, well, yeah, maybe they're just like you, just average guy, not super smart, just kind of hustled his way, got a bit lucky with his jobs and stuff, and ended up in this game. So tell me about the story, because I know you quit your job. I don't know how long ago it was. I bet it's like a year and a half or something now, isn't it? When did you quit?
No. It was only Christmas Eve of last year, so 2020. But I had been scaling back a lot on my job previously towards that. Obviously, with the pandemic, the first thing my company did was took us all down to 4 days a week and from home full time, which really benefited to me with my Amazon business, because I could do quite a lot on the side, maybe had a few extra days off than what I maybe should have done. But there you go. But officially I left my job on Christmas Eve of 2020. So I've pretty much, I would say almost, today it's been half a year, or just over half a year now, by a couple of days that I've been working for myself full time.
Feels like it's been forever. Maybe you've been talking about it half or something like that. I know.
I had spoke to you quite a lot about it, before.
So what made you take the plunge? Where did you get to in your business that made you think it was going to be okay?
It was very much the multiple income streams. I knew for a fact that if I wanted to quit my job and I wanted to be able to sleep well at night, knowing that I could look after myself if anything went wrong with my Amazon business, I had to build up multiple income streams before I did that. I'm very much a person that, whilst I do like taking risks, I like being very, very well spread with my risks. So basically, the second I started my Amazon business, I was already looking at different side hustles, because the long-term plan for me was to always quit my job and work for myself. Maybe that did hinder my growth with my Amazon business at the start, because I wasn't going all in, and I've never gone all in with Amazon. I've always kind of split it across different businesses and side hustles. But in the end, I think it's paid off for me massively, because I've just got that balance and, like I said, those multiple income streams. So for me, really, that the main factor for me to quit my job was definitely knowing that I had different payments coming in. They might not be massive, but they were diverse, and it just helps me sleep a little bit better at night.
So I do know that you're, and I love these videos of yours, but you're ultra transparent. Sometimes you'll make a video literally saying, I have made £258.47 from X, and I've made 150. And when you add it all up, actually those diverse income streams add up to quite a hefty wage, probably way more. At least the last video I watched, way more than your average UK wage. So, and you know,
absolutely,
So what? Give me a little breakdown as to. Just give me a little breakdown. I know people can go check your YouTube channel out, which is Christos Fellas. You got two YouTube channels, haven't you? What are they?
Yes. Yeah, so I've got the main channel, which is under my name, Christos Fellas. That's very much me and my journey and sharing the things that I'm interested in. But I've also just recently launched a separate Amazon channel, because obviously before I started going into my investment stuff, I was making very heavy Amazon content, and I've always wanted to continue making that, but I wanted just a separate outlet to be able to do that. So the second channel is called the Amazon Reseller Network. Very, very, very new channel. But yeah, if you wanted to go subscribe to that, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, the
Amazon Reseller Network.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So go subscribe to both of Christos's channels. But yeah, he makes higher Amazon content, especially beginner friendly. He's really good at explaining stuff in a easy to consume, easy to understand. Not loads of technical stuff and not like boggy brain stuff. Very, very down to earth every day kind of everybody can get it. So I really like your style. But break down those income streams. And I know we said we were going to talk Amazon at first, but what percentage wise or whatever, however you want to share that, where you're at.
Yeah, so like the main two income streams I have are definitely number one, Amazon. And then number two, I'd say I'd probably group it all together, but it would be my kind of personal brand. So YouTube / affiliate marketing. But I guess from the Amazon, you know, I don't claim to do massive sales. And that's something I've always said in my videos, because simply I don't put all of my effort into it. But like I would say right now, if you just go back and you only got to go and look at the YouTube videos, because I say the exact figures, but right now it's probably like 50-50 between Amazon and affiliates, simply because I've moved quite a lot into investing content recently, and there's some really good affiliate offers that you can offer in that niche, and a few of the videos that I've done have taken off quite well, so that's been quite nice. But probably over the past, I'd say up until this year, before I started making the investing content, Amazon had been my main revenue stream, and it always has since I started it. But like I say, the YouTube stuff is just a nice little side hustle to have and work on and build over time. Just a couple of other little income streams that I have. Obviously, I've got my property rental that obviously concludes quite a large amount as well. And that was another thing that I did, by the way, before I quit my job, and why I maybe stayed on at my job a little bit longer, was that I wanted to make sure that I had that income stream sorted as well. So that's another one that I talk about in those videos. And then just that there's some really like small ones, like a little bit of freelancing work that I do, maybe a bit of coaching that I do for beginners with Amazon. That's something that I offer. Dividend income payments from the stocks and index funds that I own.
No courses though, is there? You don't have any courses. You've not done the course thing.
I've not done a course. You know, I'd never rule it out. But one thing that I really love doing is the one-to-one interaction with the coaching. Like it's a bit of a selfish thing, to be honest with you. Like we've had the virus, and I don't get to speak to many people. So being actually able to talk to someone for an hour. Most of the calls that I do, I always say that they go on for an hour, but I always run over to like 90 minutes, and they're normally trying to kick me off the call, you know, because I just want to talk to people. But like I say, it's like you were saying, there's so many little things. Like there's probably more that I haven't mentioned that I've included in those videos. But I just love finding little of these like little niche ways of making money. You know, there's a few apps that I use to make money on. You know, I'd even go as far as saying that I'd probably end up going out and doing Deliveroo for a night, knowing that I could make a little side hustle from it or something. You know, I just love finding these little ways of making money.
Yeah, no, that's cool, and you do share them. I feel like I kind of asked the same question twice there, but I didn't intend to do that, but I think I kind of did. But never mind, we'll keep going.
Sorry.
So, talk to me about Amazon. Let's get the Amazon stuff done. So, you are predominantly RA or predominantly OA?
So I actually switch it up all the time, just depending on, like, one thing that I always say with Amazon, you always have to keep on your toes. You have to keep pivoting, right? So if you were to look at a whole kind of year, it's just pretty much a mix of retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale. Right now, I'm quite heavy on the retail arbitrage side of things, simply because that's where I'm finding most of my opportunities. But like there'll probably be maybe in a month or so time where it'll just be all in on online arbitrage. It's just I just go with the flow, whichever makes me the most money at that time, I go all in. So right now I'm doing a lot of retail arbitrage, I would say. Yeah.
So tell me about the retail arbitrage then. Are you one of these guys that kind of wanders around the shops, scanning stuff and seeing what works? Or are you the kind of guy that kind of plans a route and goes, right, I'm going to hit up every store in a 200-mile radius?
Absolutely. So I actually have quite a nice little routine that I don't mind sharing. That I think I've shared it before. But basically what I do with my retail arbitrage is, because I live in Norwich, it's completely out of the way. You know, there's only one road into Norwich basically and one road out. You know, there isn't that many shops. We're in our little bubble on the east side of England, and there's not that many shops. Okay, so one thing that I actually like to do, I know that if I find a good product in, let's say, a B&M or a Home Bargains or a Tesco's, I'm not going to be able to pick that up from many other stores in Norwich, okay? Whereas if you lived in London, there's so many different Tesco's around you within 10 miles, you can do whatever you want. So what I actually like to do is I actually like to call Norwich as my research hub. So I actually go out to all of the shops in Norwich and actually spend quite a long time in the stores scanning every product. You know, a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers say scan every product. I actually do. When I go to a toy section, I scan everything that I can possibly find. And then I'm doing basically my research in Norwich. Once I've found some products that I know that sell well, I'm starting to build up a shopping list. So basically just writing them down on my phone, taking the pictures of them, taking a picture of the Amazon listing, maybe in that time sent a few into Amazon and seeing if they sell or not. Yep. And then maybe a couple of weeks later, once I've built up a nice list of products that I know that either sells well or ones that I've ran through maybe Buybot Pro that come back with a really good score or sell or show really good metrics, that's when I get in the car and I plan a big route around the country. And all I'm doing is going into these stores. I'm not spending any time scanning because I know I've done all of that work up front in my Norwich stores, and I'm just picking them products up. Maybe I do give it the odd scan just to see if it's still the same price if I'm buying quite a high quantity. But that's when I really enjoy my retail arbitrage. I get in the car, I put on a great podcast, I plan maybe a 250-mile route, and I'm simply just going in to different stores and just picking the products up. And it's actually really rewarding at the time because you know you've done the work up front.
So do you have a certain route that you roughly go to, and you do it every time, or do you shake it up and go to locations?
I've got a couple. I've got a couple. The main one that I do, if anyone knows this area, is I normally head out to Ipswich, which is probably the nearest, biggest place to Norwich. And it's about an hour away, but they've got like a really nice cluster of shops in one area. So that's one route that I do, and I try to do that maybe once a month. Another one that I do is I go to the dreaded Great Yarmouth Way. You know, you've been to Great Yarmouth before, I know. I actually lived there for
amazing holidays in Great Yarmouth.
Yeah, well, I actually lived there for a while, so so I've gone over to Great Yarmouth before. That's another one that I tend not to do as often. I also go quite close to where you are sometimes, up near Kings Lynn and that area. That's not too far away from, I think, where you are. But yeah, they're kind of the main three ones that I do, and then sometimes I just keep it local and just stick with Norwich. Yeah.
Okay, so would you say that you are typically doing it on a replenishable basis? So you said you test it out, you use Norwich as the hub, and then are you doing it on a replenishable basis then? Is that what you do?
So basically that's the goal. The goal is to find the products in Norwich, nice and local. You know, most of the shops are only 5-10 minutes away from my house. Yeah. And then once I've found the products that I know sell well, as soon as I possibly can, get out and buy as many as I can from the other stores. One thing I have to say is this is only something I've started doing now that my capital's a lot higher. Before, obviously, I would always try and test items first, maybe with 3 or 5 purchases. But the more experience that you get within the game and the more capital you have, the more risk you can obviously take. So basically, the routine is pretty much simple. Try and find the products in Norwich or close to my house. Once I've started becoming similar, build up that shopping list and then head out to a wider area and try and just picking them up, you know, going into the store. Sometimes I do a bit of scanning in the store if I see some things that catch my eye on those longer trips. But the main thing is I haven't got much time. I want to just get in the store, get the products, get out and get home.
So what's your criteria then when you're looking at products? Are you looking for fast sellers, slow sellers? Is there a minimum or maximum BSR or ROI? Tell me metrics you look for.
So with retail arbitrage, it's a lot more relaxed than online arbitrage for me. Sales rank, I'm not as concerned about, and kind of sellers. Basically, with retail arbitrage, my profit is a lot higher. OA, I'm sticking to the standard, 30% ROI. I'd be happy with that. And then maybe after we've repriced a couple of times, it'll probably sell at maybe 20% ROI. And I'm absolutely fine with that. With OA, it's always just looked at as the backbone of my business. I don't get too excited with my OA purchases or anything like that. But with retail arbitrage, I'm really looking for like at least 50% ROI on my purchases. Just a couple of examples. Say if I'm spending £7.99 on a product, I want to be bringing back £22-23 maybe on that item, or maybe a little bit lower than that. In terms of sellers, I'm looking for at least 10 a month on RA, but if it's less than 10 a month, I probably wouldn't have any objections to buying it. One thing that I have now, I'm not sure if the people watching this know this, but I used to actually live in a flat, and when I did my retail arbitrage, obviously I had to store those products in a flat, and it can get quite cramped. But now I've got the luxury of having a little bit of a mini kind of warehouse as my garage. So if I do find some products that I know are really good profit, but I know they are really slow sellers, then I have no objection in buying them either and just keeping them in the garage, because they always sell at Q4. That is one thing that I've always noticed is I pretty much disregard any kind of sales rank unless it's extremely high or in Q4 time. So just going back, just the basic criteria is very much profit focused with RA. I do focus a little bit on sales rank, but I need to make sure they're at least selling a little bit. But I don't mind holding products at the moment. I know a lot of that may have changed a little bit with recent talks of kind of seller storage limits. But once again, that still goes back into the same thing that I said, where I keep products into my garage and maybe drip feed them in the future.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the tactics to use, I guess. Just be willing, be willing to store products for longer. So you said you're in a flat. I know that, but was it upstairs flat or downstairs flat?
Yeah, so it was extremely hard, and a lot of people don't know this, but for the first 2 years of my Amazon business, I was in a 3rd floor flat. I was using zero prep center. I had to park underground. I had to lift all of the products up to the flat. It was actually opposite of Morrison's once, and I used to sometimes nick a trolley from Morrison's, and I'd just be turning up in my flat in the elevator, throwing products in Morrison's. It
had a lift then. There was a lift.
It had a lift.
Oh,
that is one good thing. But one thing that I have to say, and I did this for almost 16 months, was I didn't know UPS would pick products up from you, pick your boxes up from your flat or your house, sorry. So for the first year, I would say, of doing FBA, every single box that I had made, I physically carried to my car and took to a UPS drop-off point. Sometimes it would be multiple trips, because I try and get 4 or 5 boxes out at a time.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute nightmare. But I guess the moral of the message is that no matter what your situation is, you can make the most of it, and I really do feel like I did make the most of it in that situation. But now I've got the garage, the UPS man pulls up, he backs up right up to the garage, he throws 8 or 9 boxes in at a time. Sometimes I don't even wake up for it. I just answer it on the Ring doorbell and just open the garage up with the clicker thing. And right. It's nice to sit back now and enjoy it, but when I first started, it was very, very tough. 3rd floor flat, it was tough on my back.
Well, when you said that, I mean, and just prepping alone when you're doing a lot of unit, it's really difficult. But then when you've got when you're lugging the stuff, I mean, admittedly, you weren't going upstairs; you're in an elevator. But when you're lugging the stuff to your flat, doing it, lugging it back down, putting it in the back of a car, and then taking it to a UPS drop-off point, that is a lot of work after you've done the prepping as well. So,
yeah. And bear in mind, I was obviously doing all the other things at the same time with the YouTube channel as well. But one thing I will say is, just looking back at it, is probably one of the main reasons why I still do a lot of retail arbitrage today, is simply because I was almost forced into doing that, simply because doing OA, you're having to order a lot of units. Maybe you're doing a lot of prep with multi-packs, bundles and stuff like that. Yeah. at a flat, it was very, very hard to do. I still did it, but I couldn't do it at the scale that most people do it, simply because of the room and the storage that I had. You know, like I remember one evening I was doing multi-packs that all of the products had stickers on, and I was sat on my kitchen table with the Gugon white spirit stuff, you know, getting it all over the kitchen table, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I focused on what worked for me, and that was retail arbitrage, and that was the best for my situation at the time, which is why I think I still do it quite a lot now, you know.
Yeah. So I know some sellers that have never prepped an item before in their life, would never do RA because they don't want to touch any physical products. And you can run the Amazon reselling business like that if you want to. Never touch a product. I think that blows some people's minds, especially if you've sold on eBay or something like that. You can literally never touch a product if you want to. But
absolutely,
Chris
is
the absolute opposite, and he likes to do. Did you? I know you converted your garage into a bit of a prep area.
Yeah,
you do all the prepping yourself.
No, so I do have people come in and help, family members. My dad actually lives in Florida, but he does come over to England quite a lot. And whenever he's here, he actually does a lot of the eBay side of things for me. So I don't know whether people know this, but I've been selling quite a lot of stuff on eBay recently, pretty much as of November last year. He does a lot of the listing for me on eBay, but in terms of prep, I don't really have to do that much because I've been focusing a lot on stuff that you don't have to prep. But very much for me, it's like I've always said, Amazon for me has always been that vehicle, you know, that gets me somewhere else. And the money that I'm very much focused on bringing the money in for myself. And I know a lot of people try and build businesses out with it, which is absolutely fine. Obviously, Luke, who does the Amazon reseller network with me, is very much business orientated. He's building a really good business with his Amazon business, and he's doing great with it. But it's all depending on your goals, right? And that's why I've kind of kept things a lot with myself. Maybe I might do it, outsource it a bit in the future. But there's no way I would have been able to get to where I am, where I've been able to quit my job if I was, as soon as I have, that is, by completely outsourcing it.
Yeah. Because obviously you give up some of your margin. I'll have to get Luke on for one of these seller interview things, because Luke's a top guy as well. And I know you guys make videos together, don't you? And you've got a Facebook group which we've not mentioned. What's your Facebook group? Another plug for you.
The Facebook group's Amazon Reseller Network, just like the YouTube channel. And like you say, I've just brought Luke in to create some content for it, and it's really good actually, because we both offer kind of different perspectives. I offer the perspective of, you know, I do this as very much a part-time thing. Luke is very much full in on Amazon. He does mainly online arbitrage. You know, he's fully outsourced all of his prep. He's got VAs where I don't have that kind of thing. So it's really good that we both have different kind of perspectives on it, and we can both offer, you know, we both do very well from it, I would say, but we both do it in a different way, which is really good.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? If you want to go full time, all in, sell your house, put it into Amazon stock, you can. You can go nuts if you want to, or you can run it as a spare time hustle around your work or whatever you're currently doing. Okay, so you mentioned repricing. Yesterday, launched the Profit Protector Pro repricing app. I know you're an iPhone. You're an iPhone user, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
you've not used it yet.
I have. I've used it on the test flight.
Oh, you got it on the test flight? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I should say that or not, but I was lucky to be invited to a test out. Runs extremely smooth. You know, I've had no problems with it. I will be completely honest with you. I haven't used it on a day-to-day basis yet. I've only used it for about a day, and I tried repricing an item. Went absolutely fine for me. Then went onto the computer to see if the API had kind of updated on the computer, and it had. I've got no issue. I think it's absolutely brilliant, because I actually remember one time, I've been using Profit Protector Pro since pretty much day one, and I remember it wasn't this Christmas just gone, obviously because of COVID. But last Christmas, I went over to Florida, and it was pre-booked. There was nothing I could do about it. Obviously, I was having a great time out there at the time, but we were in the middle of Q4. We were in, 5th, 6th of December. Everything is selling. And I remember actually having to log on because I didn't have a laptop with me at the time. And I had to log on to my Profit Protector Pro on my phone. And it was so difficult at the time because everything was just on the internet on your phone. And I was trying to go through all my products, making sure they were priced correctly, so that they could sell better. But now, obviously, with the app, that's completely solved. And I remember thinking back at that time, I think I may have even messaged you at the time saying, "Core, an app would be good," But,
nice. Well, your wish is our command. And exactly. So,
yeah.
Okay. So, because I said this weren't all going to be Amazon, I'm going to ask you a few fire questions, get some value out of you. So anyone watching this to this point can go, "That was amazing value," and then we'll move on to other stuff if that's all right with you.
Let's go. Yeah.
Biggest tip for somebody? Biggest message for somebody thinking about getting into selling on Amazon. What would you say to them? Somebody that's on the fence, maybe they've been looking for 3, 4, 5, 6 months and have not took the plunge yet. What would you say to those people?
Well, the first thing I would say is just start, because you never know if you're going to enjoy it just by looking at it on YouTube, looking at people like maybe myself or someone else. You have to try it. I've always been a big advocate of trying many different things, the mad scientist approach, throwing the paint or whatever at so many different things and see which one sticks, right? Yep. So that'd be my first thing for new sellers, is just to start. And then the second thing I would say to new sellers is that be on your own journey. Like I said, I'm not the typical person on YouTube that's saying I'm making millions of pounds, I'm doing hundreds of thousands of pounds in sales every year. Do it for the reasons you want to do it. I had a reason clearly as to why I wanted to start selling on Amazon, and I stuck with it. I didn't get overwhelmed by seeing other people's successes or their ways of doing it. Stick to what you want to do. So first thing is start, and then the second thing is outline what you want to get out of it, and then see if it works for you depending on what you want.
Okay, that's cool. Right, so let's say for the relative beginner that's maybe sent a few boxes in, they've made a bunch of sales, maybe they've made a grand or two. They know it's real, they know it's working. What would your advice be to those people? So they're beginners still, but they've had a blast.
So my biggest thing, just from what I see from people at that stage, is a lot of people come to me and they talk about penny pinchers, people, their listings getting completely crushed. But a lot of the time when I ask them the questions around that, is a lot of the people, when they first start selling, is they send their products into Amazon and they almost expect to just sit there and just see them all sell out. That simply isn't the case. If you look at a shop, you look at a shop, so they bring in the stock to a retail store. They're not going to sell all of their products in that day or that week because the store would be empty. So many people do that, and they sit there and they wait for them sales, and then they're concentrating on maybe 1 or 2 listings, and they're saying, "Oh, this one's dropped by a penny, this one's dropped by £1." Instead, focus on just bringing more stuff in. Like with me, I was worrying about that at the start. And the second I stopped worrying about it and I said, right, those products are in now, on to the next one. What you actually realize, especially if you sign up to something like Profit Protector Pro, set your repricing rules to what you want to achieve from it and just forget about it. What you'll actually start to notice, if you're spending all of your time on finding more products and new products, you actually forget about those products that are maybe being penny pinched or being dropped in price, and eventually they'll probably raise back up in price again without you really even thinking about it. Does that kind of make sense? Like, so many people, what I'm trying to say is so many people get tied up on 1 or 2 products. You wouldn't see a retail store person saying, "Oh, Asda's dropped their price on these biscuits. That means I'm never going to sell these biscuits." They're not focusing on that. Eventually that they are going to sell, and they
might have 20 of one type of book on a shelf. They're not going to sell all 20 in day one. It might take a month or 2 to sell them, and that's okay. And maybe some of them will have to go on sale the seller. That's okay too. No, it's a mindset game.
And it probably just comes back to the main message that I try and push with everything, really. And it's just patience, like, don't expect to just go and buy everything from the shop to sell on Amazon and it's all just going to sell straight away. Just like anything, like a lot of people as well. Just one more tip for beginners, like expectations. So many people have come to me in the past and they said, realistically, how much can I make on Amazon? I want to be able to make, I want to be able to quit my job. And you have to look at realistically. When I ask them how much money they've got to start and they say £1,000, you're not going to be able to quit your job straight away with just £1,000 to start off with. You're not going to be able to make £1,000 on Amazon with £1,000 capital. That means you have to spend £1,000 on products, sell them all for double the price, all within a month, and completely sell out. It's almost impossible to do. So another thing is expectations. You need to look at how much money you have, look at roughly how much you can sell products for, and then work out your goals from there.
Yeah, I think a fair thing to do is if you're just getting started out, get your stuff together, get your seller account, get whatever tools you need or whatever, and then if you've got 500 quid or £1,000, use it as a test, but don't expect that £1,000 is going to make you a gazillionaire in 6 months. Because realistically, if you think about the ROI, you got to flip it again and again and again to make any money and build it up. It does compound over time if you reinvest everything back. But ultimately, if you want to make a lot of money and quit your job right from the start, you're going to have to throw a lot of money at it, aren't you? Realistically.
Absolutely.
No, that's a fair point. So I'm not going to ask for an advanced tip because I know what you're like.
One more thing, actually, that I always say to beginners, like Amazon or retail arbitrage, online arbitrage isn't that difficult. When you break it down, that it's literally into. I always say this. It's very much, if you can learn how to find profitable products, you can learn how to reprice them effectively, and then you can learn all the basic stuff like being able to send in a shipment and stuff like that. It's very much, once you've learned how to do that and you've got that proven concept, the game is simply how many times you can repeat that as to how much money you make. Now, obviously, you can go out and help yourself by getting virtual assistants, investing into softwares, prep centers. But realistically, the game is learning how to find good products, learning how to send them in, learning how to reprice them. And it's simply however many times you can repeat that process is how much money you effectively going to make.
It's a numbers game. And the more you can turn over your stock, the more money you're going to make over time. Absolutely. So you mentioned learn to reprice a couple of times. What's your favorite strategy? What's your favorite repricing strategy?
I bounced quite a lot in between a few actually recently. So over the past 6 months on Profit Protector Pro, my favorite one's been the Balanced. I can't remember the full name of it. I just know it's called Balanced. Balanced. When it first came out, I was all over the Cautious as it was called. I absolutely loved that because it never dropped the price lower than the lowest FBA seller. But the Balance one worked really well for me. But I actually probably go with a mix. So when I'm doing my online arbitrage, it's very much routine. Find the product, set it to a minimum of, I believe I set my minimum ROI as 15%. Which may be a little bit low to some people. But like I said, online arbitrage is just my backbone of my business. Set it to a minimum of 15%, set it to balance. Sometimes when I do a bit of retail arbitrage, I do go with the standard matching the buy box. But one thing I do with my retail arbitrage buys is I'm setting my minimum a lot higher than this typical OA one, because they're the ones that I expect to make a little bit more money on and the ones that I would happily hold for a lot longer.
Okay.
So I like to mix it up. One thing that I've been doing a lot recently is actually going in every 2 weeks, I would say, and reviewing them. One thing I've been paying a lot of attention to is like the dashboard recently, just like how many times it's being repriced during a day, and just looking at a few of the stats on the products. But it's very much a mix. But right now, I do like the Balance one. I was a little bit skeptical about it at the start. Simply because sometimes I'd go into my account and I wouldn't see it being the lowest price, but that's after speaking to the team. That's how that works, because it gets the lowest price and then pushes that price up to try and get you more profit. And if you understand that and understand how it works, you actually understand how powerful it is. So now that I understand fully how it works, how it grabs the buy box for you and then pushes that price up once you have got that buy box, there's been countless amount of times where I've sold products, like maybe £2 or £3 higher. The dashboard only says, but the main one's balance for me. But I also like to throw in a nod, just match the buy box on just some standard items as well.
Okay, cool. Intermediate/advanced tip. So just something you'd sell to somebody that's been selling. I thought you were going to be too humble if I said, "Oh, now an advanced tip." I thought you'd be like, "Oh, I know how humble you are," and you're like, "Well, I don't want to." But I think you're a lot more advanced in your knowledge and your journey than I think probably people will portray you as, because you're so beginner focused on a lot of your stuff. But what would you say with regards to an intermediate/advanced tip?
Let me think. I don't want to do something that's too obvious. So I would definitely say, I don't know whether this is advanced or not, but it's probably me being a little bit basic with it. But one thing that I've really seen a lot of success with my Amazon business as a whole is actually eBay. So many sellers that I know that have been selling for a long time, when I ask them, what do you do with your returns? And they just say they chuck them away and they give them away to a family member. And I just think there's so much money being left on the table there. Ever since I I guess a good thing for advanced sellers is that one thing I noticed with my Amazon business last year, you've either got two problems. You can either not find the products, or you haven't got enough money to find the products. Last year, I had a lot of those problems where I'd found so many products that I'd run out of cash, and my cash flow was a really big problem for me. And one thing that I started to do was started selling on eBay there, and I couldn't explain how much more money that brought in to my Amazon business to allow me to buy more stock. Whereas before, I would just say, oh, I've run out of cash, I've maximized my opportunity, I'll just wait until Amazon send me some more money, But like a tip for advanced sellers is not to look into the Amazon, but look at how you can generate a little bit more cash flow. And you're going to have, so if you've been selling on Amazon for a while, you're going to have refunds, you're going to have products that you've had to recall. Don't just let them sit there, because they sell. I cannot explain what actually sells on eBay. Some of the stuff that I put on from my Amazon business, I've put grocery stuff on eBay before. I've sold cheese sauce bundles on eBay. And I've got 8 or 9 quid for it, and it's just come back and it's just allowed me to go again with my Amazon business. The other thing that I would say is I've spent a little bit of time in this call preaching about kind of holding products, waiting for the price to go up. Sometimes as an advanced seller, don't be afraid just to sell out of that product at a loss, just so you can get that money back and go again. Even though you've been selling on Amazon for a few years, you're always still going to make mistakes. Just an example of myself, I had a wholesale order that I ordered, and I ordered about 75 units of this one product that I was going to sell for £12.99. Within 3 or 4 months, the product had dropped all the way down to about 4 quid. And I thought, right, I'm just going to hold them for a little bit, see if the price goes up. It went up a little bit to about £7 or £8. And it was at the point where I'd probably make a loss of about £1 when I sell the item. And I said, I've got 75 of these. They're all sitting in my garage. I said, you know what? If I sell all of these now, it's going to generate at least, 300-400 quid for me to go again and buy something else. And I just sold them at a loss. And it was very much, once again, going back to that, cash flow is extremely important when running any kind of business, really.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, because
I hope that was a little bit more advanced than the beginner tips.
Yeah, no, I liked that. I thought just the eBay tip was great, because absolutely, you get your returns, and I've done it. They'll stay in a pile in your garage, And
Absolutely.
And what you're saying is, no, don't let them be in a pile in the garage.
Yeah.
Sell them on eBay, and you'll probably get a lot of your money back. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember in that first month of doing eBay, I had like £1,500 in eBay payments that I went straight back out with and spent on more Q4 stock. So it makes a big difference, you know.
Absolutely. And it's interesting what you said about the drop in the prices and maybe considering taking a loss to keep your cash flow going on some.
Yeah, not all the time. Yeah.
No, but I did never mind the buy box yesterday. Filled in for that, and we had Abu Omer on there, and he said the exact same thing yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Just last night, he said that exact same thing. So that's interesting. Two sellers in the space of 24 hours have told me, look, don't be scared to take a loss on some items to keep your cash flow going. So that's cool. Right. Okay. So do you want to say anything else about Amazon, or are we going to draw a line under that bad boy now, like I said we would, and we've got to talk about stuff?
I'm easy. Yeah.
Right, okay, right, that's it then. Amazon talk done. If you're an Amazon seller and all you wanted to hear is Amazon stuff, you can hit that thumbs up button. Leave a comment on what you think about this interview. He's opening his Dr. Pepper. Is it Dr. Pepper? He's a Dr. Pepper addict. Right, there we go. He's cracked on open now. That's it. He's in the zone. Right, okay, so nice one, Christos. So now we're going to talk about everything but Amazon. And anybody that's just Amazon can leave if they want to. Right. So Bitcoin, what do you think?
Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is definitely the future, or cryptocurrencies are definitely the future.
Okay.
In terms of, if we break this down into two things, Bitcoin and then people who invest in Bitcoin, I think you need to be very, very careful. I've seen a lot of people going all in on crypto lately, and it scares me. It scares me so much because I was in that same position. Just a fun fact, my introduction to investing was through Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the first investment that I ever made back in 2017, I believe, in terms of stocks and shares anyway. Bitcoin was my first investment. I did okay from it. I think I've told you about it before. But
assume that you're talking to your audience, not me. So just
I got involved Bitcoin 2017. When it was £4,000 a coin, and Ethereum was something like £100 a coin or something. It was ridiculous. Just like I always do with everything I do, I go out and tell everyone about it and I preach it to the world. You know, I found this thing called Bitcoin. I had colleagues at work get involved with it, and this is when it started pumping up to about £10,000 a coin, and then we had the massive drop back then, and I saw a lot of people get burnt then. What I'm seeing right now is exactly the same thing. Everybody is talking about it on an even bigger scale, and like I said, we've just recently seen a big drop in Bitcoin, and there's already been people, you know, saying what's going on, you know, like,
well, it's gone from about $60,000.
Yeah.
When you buy it $4,000, it's gone from $60,000 ish down to, last I looked, it was like $36,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
All the investment experts that I see, the smart ones seem to be saying it's going to keep going down.
Do you know what the best thing I say about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? I think it's really important that everybody owns a little bit of some. But you shouldn't be using it. I personally don't think you shouldn't be using it as your main investment strategy. It's just way too risky, way too volatile. Just like I own 1.2 Ethereum, nothing massive at all, simply just because I want to be involved with it. You know, like I have no plans on selling it, and it's great, you know. Like, I think I wouldn't even be able to tell you how much Ethereum dropped recently. I think it dropped like 50%, someone told me.
I broadly track Bitcoin, so when Bitcoin drops, that drops too. Is it not that?
I think it kind of works like that. Like the altcoins normally follow suit just after. And another thing that I don't like about Bitcoin and the whole crypto space at the moment, it seems to be controlled by one man on Twitter. and Elon Musk, right? Yeah. So every time he tweets, there's always a reaction in Bitcoin price. And the thing that makes me really scared is that a lot of people say about Bitcoin, they say, oh, cryptocurrency is decentralized, no one's controlling it. Right now, one man is pretty much controlling the entire price. I know it's not going to be like that forever.
His influence is affecting the price. You mean he's not actually? So it's decentralized. Yeah.
Of course.
I hear him say that, but it's like, no, because if a government moves against it, or some central bank moves against it, then like you can't say that it's decentralized or whatever. Yeah, but if your government say we're going to tax you 90% if you buy and sell Bitcoin, well, unless you're willing to be a criminal and not pay your taxes, that is in effect them controlling it, isn't it? So there is that. But I'm not anti-Bitcoin. I'm not pro-Bitcoin. I own a little bit of Bitcoin myself, but it is only a little bit, and it's tumbled. But I was expecting that. It was all right. I bought it to trade it one weekend because the stock market had closed and I wanted to do some day trading. And I just left it in there because why not? But yeah, it's interesting because what people aren't talking about, they're always talking about the upside of Bitcoin when it's soaring. And what you don't see them talk about is, I think this recent dip, as much as Elon might have been involved, didn't the Chinese government move against it or something?
I don't know the full ins and outs, but one thing I do see quite a lot is that China's banned pretty much everything. I don't think the whole Chinese thing's that big of a deal with it, in my personal opinion. Facebook's banned in China, Apple's banned in China. It's not. It's
Google. I think
Google is that. Then they're doing all right still, aren't they? So but in terms of like the whole Bitcoin thing, like I said, I fully believe in it. I fully believe, like, I'm more on the side of Ethereum at the moment, even though I'm not an expert on it. But I've been doing quite a bit of research on Ethereum, and I like the way how the smart contracts work, and how they were saying that property deals could potentially go through Ethereum smart contracts in the future, and it can completely cut out the middleman and all of that time that you spend when you're dealing.
It's blockchain technology that you're talking about, rather than a coin specifically. Blockchain. I think everybody agrees. Blockchain technology is like amazing.
Absolutely. Like the smart contracts with Ethereum, and like I said, don't really know too much what I'm talking about, but just from the basic research that I've done, and like seeing how potentially like you could buy a car through Ethereum and a smart contract. It looks like the future on that case, but the one thing I'm not too keen on at the moment is buying like these, Safe Moon and expecting it. I've had so many friends that have contacted me, seen me making a couple of investing videos saying, "Oh, what about this Dogecoin?" And the coin was made as a meme. It's brilliant. I'm all for it, and I love watching it. But like, all I ever say to people is just, be careful. Be careful.
Right. You can go for a meal with one of these people, and you've got to choose. You can only go for a meal with one of them. Elon Musk. Elon. You can ask him whatever. You can talk to him whatever.
Yeah.
It can be a romantic meal if you like, whatever. But you just get to sit down. Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, or Margot Robbie.
Oh, you're throwing a bit of a curveball then.
That's why I said the romantic bit. It could be a romantic meal if you want.
I'll have to be careful. Don't know who's watching this, but I'm going to say people may know or may not know, but my idol is Warren Buffett. I'll probably get killed by the boys watching this, but Warren Buffett is is literally like, it sounds so sad. I did a post the other day actually saying most people's idols are Drake, David Beckham, Beyonce. My idol's a 91-year-old man that lives in his little humble home in Nebraska, Omaha.
He paid $30,000 or something for it.
Yeah,
a video on Warren Buffett, and
he honestly, there isn't anyone anyone out there that has influenced my investment journey more than him. And I'd just love to have an hour or 2 hours with him.
Oh, you just doubled it to 2 hours. 1 hour, now it's 2 hours.
Yeah. I'd have a meal with Warren Buffett and maybe go to the club after with Margot.
If you had the money, would you invest in Berkshire Hathaway then, Warren Buffett?
Yeah, I haven't really. The funny thing is, I haven't really. I'd probably invest in it just to be invited to his annual shareholders meeting. That's probably what I would do, because he holds like a meeting every year for his shareholders. But the thing is, I invest in quite a few companies that they invest in anyway. So like 2 of my large holdings is Apple and Coca-Cola. I had to go and get, being this guy,
Of course. Now, if I remember right, Warren Buffett's annual meetings, doesn't he have a can of Coke on his desk in front of everyone?
It's like free. He has like free, yeah. And he actually said, which actually made me feel a lot better, because I've had people like you go on at me about how much fizzy drinks I drink, and I remember there's a speech from Warren Buffett where he says, like he drinks 5 Coca-Cola Cherry Zeros a day. And he said, I'm 91 and look at me. And I'm like, yeah, if Warren Buffett's still doing it,
do you believe
I'm still
him?
Good.
Do you believe him?
Well, to be fair, when I watch those annual shareholder meetings, it's not like they're up, like some people have them there just for the sponsorship. He's kicking them Cokes in, He's not holding back on them, He is. Yeah.
Just like you, and he's glugging that fizzy drinks.
He's an absolute legend at the end of the day. Like, and fun fact, we're born on the same date, not a year, of course, but August the 30th.
You can tell him that when you're on that hot date with him. You can tell him that. You can tell, I'm going to see Margot next. Okay. So tell me a bit about your share buying journey, because I know that stuff interests you a lot. Talk to me about when did you first get into it and all that stuff.
Yeah, so like I said, I was kind of introduced into it through buying Bitcoin. It was just an opportunity I saw at the time, and then I saw how volatile it was, and I got quite scared off from it. But then I started looking into individual stocks and shares, and this was all not that long ago, really. It was around 2017 time. I'd done a lot of research on like day trading and stuff before that. I've been offered countless amounts of Forex courses,
when you say day trading, you mean like technical analysis and trading the chart?
Yeah. Just watching YouTubers, and then I soon came to realize that probably wasn't going to be the thing for me. Why
did you come to that conclusion?
I just think it takes a lot of time. And another thing that I did is actually behind me here. I read a really good book, which is called Unshakable by Tony Robbins. And I think he actually mentions in there that only 4.5% of day traders make money, whereas people that invest in the stock market over a 10 to 15 year period of time, I think it's something like 95% of people make money. And for someone like me, like I said at the time, I'm extremely interested in spreading out my risk and giving myself the best opportunity of winning. When I see figures like that, I'm always going to lean towards investing in. And one thing at the time as well, I very much was studying Warren Buffett, his principles. So I was very lucky to have come across these people and started studying them, because that kind of pushed me towards the long-term investing route.
Yeah, Warren is so not about day trading, and he's not interested in what price it is right now. He's interested in what the company's worth.
Absolutely, and that's pretty much what all of my investing principles are based on right now. I'm very much a fundamental analysis. I'm looking at the outlook of the company. I'm looking at basic balance sheets, whether that company is making money, how much money they have in the bank. I'm not looking at any charts at all.
So you don't pay attention to any of the technical?
Not at all. Not at all. The only The only kind of technical analysis that I do, and this probably isn't even classed, is let's say I've got a stock that I own and it's down maybe 5% on the day. That's when I just look at it, trying to get some more shares in that stock just at a sale price. That's the I very much fundamental, looking at the basics of a company and just holding for the long term. That is how I've always worked.
When you're doing that, when you're trying to get that 5% discount in a day, do you set limit orders then so it auto buys it for you, or do you just manual?
No, it's all manual. So just for example, in the last maybe week or so, there's been a little bit of a correction, I would say, or a pullback, just due to mainly inflation, scarcity in America. I had Disney stock that I invest in that was down 8%. Just noticed that it was down. I fully believe in Disney for the future as a company and as a stock. I've already done my analysis on the company. I've already looked at the outlook of the company. The price doesn't matter to me, just like he says. And I noticed it was 8% down. That was a great chance to lower my cost basis on that stock. And I bought a couple of stocks there, just there and then on the day. There's no limit orders or anything like that.
Yeah, so
I've never actually
averaging.
Yeah, a lot of it is averaging down. I do a lot of averaging down. So I will always look at those opportunities. What was I going to say? I was then going to say something. I can't remember, but very much I focus a lot on the cost basis. My average price per share that I've bought in at, and just building positions out over time.
So stock market crash, are you expecting one ever? Anytime
I'm hoping
soon?
for one. Hoping for one. No. I don't know. I always say this. No expert, not one person on this planet can tell you when it will happen. I was actually watching a video the other day saying they don't think there could ever be one again, and I was like, wow, that's a very bold statement. But
you'll be too young to remember it, but Gordon Brown in the, I don't know what years it was, I guess the 2000s, middle 2000s.
2008 was the
that was the last proper big crash. But no, he said boom and bust is over under my leadership. Bust over. I think maybe he spent most of the 2000s saying that, and then it all went bang. Anybody that thinks that they can re-engineer the economic future from like no more boom and bust is naive. There's definitely going to be a boom and bust, but I mean, there is, from what I'm seeing, there's a movement towards risk-off assets. So what you're seeing, this pullback, I think is actually big money moving out of risk-on assets like stocks and shares and moving into things like precious metals, precious metal miners, defensive stocks, like the more dividend-paying stocks and stuff. I think I'm seeing that happen, and I think that's big money moving out because they know that something big's coming.
I've actually got a video coming out today, 3 stocks that I am buying ahead of a recession. So that's just an interesting.
Are you going to share what they are with me now, knowing that most people?
This will come out after the video anyway. So number 1, Walmart. I believe I was looking. I do a lot of research into, even though I do invest into Walmart anyway. I do a lot of. I've done a lot of research into these stocks, but basically, Walmart in the last recession alone went up 52%. No, 44% in the last recession alone. The stock price gained, and obviously they gained revenue. Sorry. And in the past 5 recessions that has been recorded in history, the stock has gone up an average of 40%, which is absolutely insane during a recession. Because I believe the average, I'm pulling out the numbers that I found in my research here. I think the average that the S&P 500 went down in the last recession was 37% loss. So the fact that Walmart went up that much during the last recession is unbelievable. The other one is Dollar Tree in America. That was actually the highest performing stock in the last recession. in terms of stock gain. And then one that might surprise a couple of people is McDonald's. McDonald's has always been a really consistent performer. And
because it's cheap, and it's cheap. It's fast food. It's comforting. When you've got no money but you want a treat, you ain't going for a sit-down restaurant meal, but you might.
Exactly, and that's what I say in the video as well. And one thing that I read up a lot on, because like I say, I wasn't involved in the last recession. I haven't technically been punched in the face yet with my investments, but I'm looking forward to it. But one thing that I have to say is from doing my research, is that McDonald's actually noticed about the economic crisis in the last recession, and they actually started. That was almost like the birth of their coupon deals that they do. And there were so many coupons out, discounts on meals, kids eating free or half price during that recession time, and they just took full advantage of it, and the stock price saw a really good rise. So there's three stocks that I'd definitely invest in, like ahead of a recession. But I think just going back to investments in general, and like timing markets, I put out a tweet this morning. It's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. I think if you just dollar cost average, regardless what you invest in, as long as you're picking solid companies and things with a great future, you're always going to win long term. It's just that, it's what this book's all about, dollar cost averaging, investing a set amount and over a long time. Like, I think there's I won't pull it up, but there's like a stat in this book here that talks about if you miss the I think it's here. If you miss the top 5 trading days of a yearly period, you miss out on about 50% of gains. If you miss the top 10, you actually lose money. Whereas if you just stick in it the whole time, you'll make steady returns.
Timing markets has been my biggest mistake. Not investing soon enough, biggest mistake, or one of biggest mistakes, and trying to time markets. So I've been in cash since 2016, I think it was, or something like that, waiting for a market correction. And here we are in 2021, loads of gains since, and I'm still waiting for it.
But you're getting involved now, though, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm dabbling in the markets again, which means it's probably going to crash, because it usually does that. But
here's my thing to you, right? So I think I did catch a little bit of your Never Mind a Buy box last night, and I heard you mentioned you'd invested into a couple of companies. Can't remember what the company's names are, but you said one had gone up a little bit and one had gone down a little bit. What was the one that had gone down?
Kia Group's up 40%, and I've had option to buy a load more. And the one that had gone down was Metro Bank, 28%. I think that's
so. My question to you is, in terms of like Metro Bank as a business, as an outlook, obviously I know you would have done your research into them. Do you believe in them as like a long-term play?
I'm not worried.
Yeah.
Like my younger self would have probably panicked and sold them. My older self goes, they're really cheap still. So over time, they're going to really bounce back heavily and go through the roof.
Yeah. Have you like thought about kind of maybe averaging down, like maybe buying some stocks at the price it's at now?
I might have already done that, to be fair. I think maybe I did that, but yeah, potentially I could. But my major play at the minute is precious metal miners. I've got total belief in them, and they've been going down. And as they've been going down, I've been dollar cost averaging in, and I've been buying into them. Centamin and Polymetal, I think they're called. They're a couple of them, and now I'm a few percent up. And so I've been dollar cost averaging down as they've been dropped to like 20% down or whatever. I've been buying on the way down. And now I'm up overall.
It's so powerful.
But they're paying dividends. So I'm ex-dividend on a bunch of them. So I'm going to get some cash flow from them. And their dividend policies are quite strong, so that they, like one of them's something like 40% of free cash flow. Their policy is to return it as a dividend to shareholders or something. So that dividend's come in. It's already locked in. It's gone ex-dividend, so I'm going to get that dividend. But I'm also on the actual price of them, I'm up a couple of percent. Yeah. And as people move out of risk-on assets into risk-off assets, gold, silver is going to increase. I'm already seeing the price of gold and silver going up. So these precious metal miners are going to go with them. That's my belief. But again, it's not investment advice. Don't bloody buy stuff because I just said that. Anybody that's watching this. But yeah,
it's an area that I need to look into, because like I say, just with everything, I always look to diversify. And one thing I'm kind of a little bit too heavy in at the moment is kind of tech.
Yeah,
I've bought a lot of Apple and Facebook stocks. They were like the first two main stocks that I was buying in. Just going back to the dollar cost averaging thing, just a fun fact: when I first bought my Facebook stock and I was very, very new to investing, I bought it literally, I think it was about 20 days before the Cambridge Analytica scandal got released, and the stock price, stock tanked like 35% overnight. I woke up the next day and I looked at my Facebook stocks, because I was checking it every second at that time, and I was like, $25 down a share, and I've just bought 15 of them. And I was like, what? I was like, how what's going on? But then the more I researched into it, I ended up buying more stock at that lower price, and now it's like over double of what that price was just two years later.
The key is, like, if you're a fundamental investor like you are, then you see it as a sale. Like Warren Buffett always says, you see it when that price comes down. You don't go, "Oh my God, I've lost loads of money." You go, "Yes, I can get some more of this." I paid before. So, and I think that can work out. But you've got to believe in the companies that you're investing in. You know what, Christos? It's an hour and 15 in. This is the longest interview by far I've done. I could talk to you all day about all kinds of random stuff. I'm not even scratching. I'm not talked about hardly anything. But I'm conscious of time and stuff, and I'm really appreciative that you've shared as much time with me as you have. So I think we'll draw this one to a close. But if you're willing to, in future, we'll have you on again, and we'll see where you're at.
Always happy. Always happy.
Nice one. So yeah, if you guys want to see, if you've watched this far, leave a comment down below saying, "I can't believe Christos would rather have a meal with Warren Buffett." Say that, and we'll know you've watched this far in your heart. But no, thanks so much, Christos. You're a legend as always. If you want to check out Christos's channel, it's Christos Veles on YouTube, or the Amazon Reseller Network on Facebook group. And the Amazon Reseller Network, did you say YouTube channel?
Yeah.
So go jump on and follow him. Follow Christos, what he does. He's a top guy. He's a good guy. He's one of the good guys in this game. And I'm sure you can learn loads. And he's just cool, chill guy. So go follow him. Go say hi to him wherever he is. And yeah, thanks, Christos, for jumping on.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks. Until next time, mate. See you next time.
See you later.
Cheers. Bye.